welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, I feel great. Yesterday I had created this look. I was filming something else for a different platform and I really felt really pretty. I've been experimenting with colors like I said, and so I kind of wanted to recreate that look and film it. And I think I'll use this time as I kind of do my makeup to talk a little bit about my journey to self-confidence, because I have struggled with that my entire life. I've been bullied. I am, kind of the black sheep of my family a little bit, and I've never really fit in, whether it's in society or in, our culture and our religion and a lot of different things. I've just always been a little bit different. I've always followed my own path. And so, along the way, there have been a lot of people that have constantly tried to, tell me I'm weird, tell me I'm a little different, tell me that I'm wrong, always try to put me down. And so, for me, self-confidence came from within. I had to really build myself up in order to be who I am today. It's taken a lot of courage out of me. It's taken a lot of reflection out of me, and so I feel like maybe if I talked about it, it might resonate with other people. But yeah, so let's get started. So the palette that I'm going to be using is one that I absolutely love. I have many palettes, but I always end up going back to this one, and it's the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. So I'm going to show you, these are all of the beautiful colors. As you can see, this is a palette that has been absolutely loved. I will have to say that for me, growing up, I am first generation American. That means that my mom and dad were not born here. Me and my siblings are the first generation of Americans to be born here from our family, as well as a couple or a few, because it's more than two, of our cousins. But the rest of us are actually the rest of my family was born and raised in Egypt. And I've actually gone, and I go all the time. I'm fluent, as well as all of my siblings are also fluent. Some of us better than others, obviously, but the five of us have no issues when it comes to speaking Arabic. And so, growing up, being Arab, being Egyptian, being Muslim, it's always been a struggle, especially as a female, because, we come from a conservative culture. It's just a norm. It's just, we come from a very conservative culture, and there is nothing wrong with that. We have our morals, we have our values, and these are great things. And so, there are just certain things that growing up, we've always been taught are wrong, or aib, or haram, are things that are just not socially or culturally or religiously accepted. And so some of those things I've accepted growing up because I feel wholeheartedly I agree with, and other things I have not accepted, and clearly I am my own person, and I feel strongly about the things that I feel strongly about, and I don't shy away from that whatsoever, and even if it's unpopular opinion. But that came learned, and that came from, first and foremost, my parents. Literally, God bless them. They taught us to always really care about what's right and wrong, more so, and a moral compass than what people thought. And I feel that has tremendously helped me personally in my life, because I think of things in the sense of, is it right? Is it wrong? Do I feel it agrees or resonates with my moral compass and who I am and what I believe in? And if it's a yes, then then it's a yes. And if it's a no, then I don't do it. And so that's kind of how I grew up and how I was raised, and I'm very thankful for that because it's also been a part of my self-confidence building, and I'll go into deeper detail as to why. In grade school, I used to be, you know, like I said, different, just very different. I used to actually wear the scarf and cover up, and that was also somewhat of unpopular opinion, and it wasn't like I was like, there was anyone who was racist towards me, like, because I'm different, because I don't look the same, because I don't dress the same, because I have different values and I'm Muslim and all of these things, there was just always a stigma or a thought behind me and what I was like as a result, and how people felt about me and interacting with me and like being my friend. And so like growing up, I just never had a lot of friends, and usually all the guys that I had crushes on never had crushes on me. And so that really starts to take a toll on your feelings as a girl and yourself, in the way that you look at yourself, especially in high school when you're so young, and like everybody has relationships and everybody has boyfriends, and it's just like more difficult for you. I'm different, I'm completely different, and I accepted that, right? And so that was kind of the first step for me, because I was always like told, you smell bad, even though I never really smelled bad, or you're ugly, and oh my god. And I used to be like, let's be honest with one another, I am not a toothpick. I am not 115 pounds. I used to be at one point in my life, because of this bullying, because of this toll on my self-confidence, where I was anorexic almost, or basically. And so for me, I was like used to be called fat because I was a bigger girl. I'm Arab. I have curves. I have hips. I have things, people. I have things. I'm Arab, and I like have always hated my hips. I always hated my hips, and I mean, I used to be like, my siblings used to be like, oh, why'd mom give you all the hips? Like, why couldn't we get some hips? And you know, like, I used to be like, take them, I don't want them. It was just like, you know, I felt so self-conscious, and like my self-confidence was not there, and I really hated my hips because I was this, like this. And so that was always a big insecurity for me. Now it's something I embrace, but before it was something that I hated about myself. And so when I graduated high school, you know, some of those other things had taken a toll on me, like such as being called fat and those things. And so I went on this crazy diet and like tried dieting pills. Like, it was bad. And I would only eat grilled chicken and lettuce just like a freaking turtle. And it got to a point where I dropped so much weight so quickly that my doctor was like, okay. My mom and my doctor both intervened, and they were like, this is not healthy. Like, you can't do this to yourself. And I guess, in a way, you could say that that was an eating disorder, but it wasn't like I stopped eating completely. I just stopped eating all of the things that I used to eat. Because I would still eat grilled chicken and lettuce and like vegetables, but that's all I ate. And so as a result, my body slimmed down drastically. And it was also like, you know, I say it's puberty weight that goes away and things of that sort, but like, I will be the first to admit that I am a 5'7.5" female. I should never be below the 125 mark, and that would mean that I'm extremely skinny, and I was at 115. So clearly very unhealthy, and I used to be at 189. So you can only tell how big of a difference that is. I was in a relationship with someone who was very good to me, I will tell you. Like, you know, it was my first real relationship. It was when I lost all that weight, and I was like, you know, it was my first legitimate relationship. I really ended up falling for the guy. He was a great guy, I would say. Most people don't say that the guys that they were with were really good guys, but no, I was like one of those lucky few, and I was with someone who was really good. He always told me I was beautiful. He always treated me really well. He always like made me smile, always was like building my self-confidence. And quick tip for this shadow before I continue on telling you this little story is wetting it is, I think, like the best way to get this spark, like shimmer, to stick. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm going to be using, this is the alteration that I wanted to try, was the Stila glitter shadow. Like a little butterfly, love it. We're gonna clean that up, the edges, after we're done. But to have someone in your life who like tells you that and is constantly trying to build you up is something that's also great for your self-confidence. So I feel like even though I was going through it and I helped myself build my self-confidence up, a part of it came from him, because I think it's so important that when you are choosing a partner that they are also somebody that's good for your self-confidence, because being in the wrong relationship, and I've been there, can do such great detriment to all of the progress that you do build. Because after me and that particular relationship ended, I spent 2 or 3 years, you know, alone, not dating anyone, not being with anyone else, and it was just because I wasn't ready. And I was dating, don't get me wrong, but I like didn't get into a serious relationship for a while after, and it was because I knew that I deserved something so great as a result of being with somebody that cared for me the way that my ex did, you know? And that's something that I will always thank him for, is that for like, he loved me the right way, as they would say. And so when I spent that time after, you know, being single and like forming myself, I really took the time. I was like, I started to work hard at school. I started to, you know, take care of my appearance. When I realized that losing all that weight wasn't healthy, I joined the gym. I started eating like healthier. I started making better decisions. I started working out more consistently. I was in the gym 2 hours every single day, 5 a.m. Like, you know, I got myself disciplined. I got into a rhythm. I gave myself a routine. And that started to, you know, help me, because it, like, I had much more energy because I was going to the gym. I felt better because I was doing something. And I guess like the motivation that came from getting up in the morning and doing those things really did end up helping me tremendously, because I would, every day when I would get up in the morning and go to the gym, I'd be like, you did that. You got up at 5 o'clock in the morning before you had to go to college, before you had to go to class, before you had to go to work, in order to do that. And I started to give myself little pep talks. I talk to myself so much, and I have no problem admitting that. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. It's how I deal with things, and it's how I make myself feel good. It's how I, you know, give myself a boost of confidence. It's how I reflect. It's how I you know, kind of punish myself sometimes when I do things that I'm not proud of, or that I don't agree with. And it's like, I feel like it's important for everyone to have those conversations with themselves first and foremost, because like, you know yourself best, and when you do certain things, you know why you did the things that you did, and no one knows your reason better than you. And so you can be, no one is more honest with you than you are, because even when we're trying to lie to ourselves, we know where the truth is. And so it's like important to be kind to ourselves, and like, I think that's number one at all time, is just being kind to yourself, because there's enough negativity around us that we don't need to be mean to ourselves as well. Like, let others be mean, you don't need to be mean to you as well. And I'm gonna go in with my Huda Beauty, of course. And
telling you everything. Perfect.
Like, I realized that because of, you know, trying to fit other people's expectation of me, I lost sight of who I was, or lost sight of trying to figure out who I was, because at the time I was so young and I was just like trying to fit into what society expected of me or what society wanted of me, and that was being super skinny and super thin, and because that was what society was like really big into, and I really wanted to be like that, not realizing that that's not how my body was created or made or meant to look at by any means. The healthy weight that I was putting on just made me feel happier than being that skinny. And so from there kind of started that self-healing and like understanding what it was that made me happy. And then I ended up moving out of my parents' house for a little while. And it was just like, for me, it was a big thing. Like, before I moved out of my parents' house that summer, I went on a solo trip, and it was like a really, really impactful time in my life, because I was by myself. I had no distractions. I had no one around me, no one saying anything, no one talking to me, no one in my ear, and it was just me, myself, and I for 3 weeks. The last week I think was probably the most impactful week, because I was in Italy, not speaking the language, not having anyone to rely on. It was just me by myself and kind of like embracing the beauty of the world. It was my first solo trip. I was a kid. I was like 23, 22 years old. And it was just like a great time for reflection, and I can't even begin to tell you like just how much I learned was a lot about myself, because I was like truly humbled. I realized that I was just like such a small part of like such a big world, and so like it's okay, you know. I learned to let things go, and I learned to kind of be accepting of myself and understand that like I am a small piece of a big puzzle, and so like I need to be kind to myself, and I need to take care of myself so I can do my part in this big puzzle, because there's a reason for everyone being on this in this world, on this planet, and we all have a life path and a life journey that we need to follow. And so I think, you know, that trip really changed my outlook and making me understand and realize that. You know, I realized I had accomplished a lot by myself, for myself. I was getting my master's, I was like paying for my schooling, I had bought my own car, I had paid it off, I was living on my own. So I like just realized that I had tackled and done a lot, and there was a lot to be proud of for myself. And like I was just like forgot to be grateful for a second, and then when I was grateful, that really helped me understand how to, you know, just be confident in who I was, because I accepted who I was, and like as a result of accepting who I was okay with it. I then like was in a relationship, and all of that hard work that I had done to get myself to where I needed to be like, oh, I'm a boss ass bitch, excuse my French. This person that I was with kind of fell in love with me for this reason, or told me they fell in love with me for this reason, and then that reason of who I was became too much, and it was no longer, I guess, tolerable for him to deal with, and he just couldn't deal with it anymore. Because I started to doubt that, you know, who I was okay, and because I was having such a hard time adjusting and changing, I actually started to become an awful person as a result of. I started to change, and I became very self-conscious about everything, about who I was as a person. All of it just like no longer felt okay. I'm gonna do my eyeliner, so I need to focus, so I'm gonna shut up for a second.
not like those
it was too
who felt
much.
that things
It was just too much
don't care
for
about the
him,
consequences.
and that's okay.
No.
And
Care as much
instead
as
of just being open and
It's just like he
honest
can't see
about
boundaries.
it being too much for him,
We only see
he
them
instead
right
took the route
in front
of,
our
oh,
noses.
let's just make her feel like crap about herself, you know?
Do you have any last words?
There's still time for you to change your mind and not be an asshole.
And that worked great for him, by the way. It worked great because I really did feel like crap about myself. But then I no longer was the person that he fell in love with as a result of that.
Who's gonna miss out?
And I think that's what he didn't realize would happen. Because I was trying to please him, and I forgot all about myself. And so I was making decisions that I was not particularly proud of. And as a result, we both lost. And we both lost big, because I lost myself, and as a result, I lost him, and he lost me, because I lost myself. But I was left with a mess when we broke up, because I was left to clean up all of the 3 years of impact of crap. Literally crap. I'm gonna go in with the Lorac, and there's gone, and this was color Duchess. I'm actually gonna be using the Huda Beauty highlighter palette.
What are you doing down here?
Nobody really prepares you for what life has to bring to you. And you know, when I was in that relationship, he used to always say things to me like, oh, why do you always have to look like that? Why do you have to look like a Barbie? Because I love wearing makeup. You know what? I love it. Like, look at how flawless, like, I look like I slayed this look. This look looks amazing. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But I'm just saying, like, I love makeup. So what's wrong with it? What's wrong with me wanting to be pretty? It's not like I wear makeup every single day. Yeah, some days I wear it, and if I'm on vacation or if I'm out with you or if I want to go out with my man, I obviously want to look nice. And so, like, things like that, like my appearance, the way that I talk, because I'm outgoing and I'm outspoken, he'd be like, oh, if I leave you, you would talk to anyone or anything? Yes, if you leave me, I'm gonna talk to the wall. I want to talk to the wall, so let me talk to the wall. Like, damn, you know, sorry. But it's just like, those are things that make me who I am. It's part of my character. It's part of me being me, you know? And so I realized that I dimmed myself down in order to make him and other people feel comfortable to be around me. Like, there are so many people that in my life have always tried to put me down, and I've realized every time that whoever that person was that tried to put me down, it was because they weren't comfortable in who they were. And it scares people when someone is this okay with being who they are. Like, no one in this world can ever say that I pretend to be someone that I'm not. I am very upfront with who I am. My family knows it. When I make a mistake, I own up to it. When I do something, I say that I did it. And so it's like, when you're that comfortable in who you are and accepting of who you are, it sometimes scares other people, and it's easy for them to put you down because they wish they had that confidence in themselves. And like, it's really sad because sometimes that insecurity from them leads to that insecurity in you, and that's what happened with me. I became very insecure. And so for a very long time, like, it took me a very long time to rebuild myself. It took me like 2 years, if we're really being honest with one another. And I think I'm 100% there and 100% better. I'm better than there, to be completely honest with you, just because of, like, that's how impactful it was on me. And that's how much I was just like, no. I was so determined. I was so determined. I said the comeback is going to be so much stronger than that setback, because, and I'm gonna tell you, my comeback has been stronger than that setback, because I feel amazing. I feel great. And it's really because I've believed in myself. Like, I sit there every night and I tell myself, like, you're amazing, you're incredible, and you need to remember that, and you need to, like, know that you're amazing. And it's okay if you sound conceited. It's okay to sound conceited. Sound conceited all you need, because you have to be your own supporter. You have to be your own cheerleader, because no one's going to cheer you on the same way that you're going to cheer you on. No one is going to be there and empower you and support you the way that you're going to support yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one that has that goal and that vision for yourself. And so I realized that in order for me to be able to empower others, I need to feel empowered myself and empower myself in order to be able to do that. And like, it was a big step to rebuilding my confidence. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've rebuilt my confidence in ways that I don't think. I'm very out there. I am very in your face. This is who I am. You either accept it or you just keep it moving. Like, I'm not forcing you to accept me, but you just need to keep it moving. You need to not think of me and my life or be concerned with what I do because I'm comfortable with where I am. If I have an issue with where I am, the people that I love that are around me, that care about me, will make sure that they reel me back in. But like, I've developed this level of confidence because you have to just have a thick skin, and you're the only one that can empower yourself to do that, right? It's like, I take whatever criticism is given to me and I'm like, cool, thank you. If it's constructive, I take it. I really take it and I reflect on it and I do something about it. And if it's not constructive, then I completely terminate it from my life, because it's irrelevant and it doesn't need to be a contributing factor to how I'm going to live my life, because I'm not living to satisfy anyone but myself and God and the people that I love and care. And the people that I love and care about are not going to ask me to be someone that I'm not. They're going to love me and embrace me and accept me for who I am, because they know that who I am on the inside is a good person. And so confidence comes from that. Comes from knowing that you have an awesome support system. It comes from knowing that you yourself are an awesome support system for yourself and for others around you. And it's okay to sit there and reflect and say, hey, like, I've done amazing things. And they don't need to be on par with what everyone else is doing by any means. They just need to be okay for you. Like, you need to be proud of them. You know, if raising if raising $1,000 for Relay for Life for American Cancer Society is what you feel makes you feel happy, then there you go. You don't need anyone's opinion. If you feel like saving up $1,000 is something that you're proud of, there you go. Then you should take pride in that. Whatever you feel like you should take pride in, you should take pride in. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else, because if God wanted us all to be the same, He would have created us all the same. He would have made us all look the same. He would have had us all have the same level of intelligence or same capabilities, because I don't feel like anyone is more intelligent than anyone else. I just feel like we utilize our brains in different ways for things that are relevant to us, that make us unique. And so your journey is your journey, and you're special in your own way, and you need to, embrace that you are beautiful just the way that you are. I always tell, like, I've said this 100 times, I'm going to be the same person now and then, because I'm doing this, or I'm living my life, or I'm being me for me. I'm living an authentic life for myself before it's for anyone else. And so therefore, what other people's opinions are or how other people feel is completely, as long as I haven't done anything detrimental to them, it's irrelevant to me. It doesn't affect me. I'm going to be authentic in myself, and I'm going to do things that like fit in with my moral compass, and that's all that there is to it. I think it needs to come with you being kinder to yourself. We all need to be kinder to one another, but that's very difficult for a lot of people. And so if people aren't being kind to one another, at the very very least, we can be kind to ourselves. And that's what I kind of want to leave you with, is like, confidence comes from being happy and from being kind to yourself. Confidence comes from being kind to yourself, first and foremost. Like, you need to be understanding and empathetic of your own circumstances, because if you're not, then who's going to be? You know those things best. And so that's kind of how I want to end this. This is the magical final finished look. I feel like a butterfly. I feel like a Barbie. I love it. It's beautiful, I think. It's girly, it's feminine, it's summery. It's something that I'm not used to doing completely. Like I said, this quarantine, I've been experimenting with things that are out of my comfort zone, and we settled on purple. And it's beautiful and it's great, and you know, this is me being confident in every aspect of who I am, and even building my own confidence. Look at this. This is a build of my own confidence, like going out of my comfort zone to do makeup looks like this. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me ramble. And I wasn't trying to be like inspirational or anything of the sort, but I hope that what I've said has resonated with you, and I really hope that everyone feels great, and this is the first step to great self-confidence for us all. And until next time, bye.